stage was set for a momentous day. The Prime Minister could be fighting for his political life.
Good morning, Britain. The Sue Gray Partygate report is imminent.
The Prime Minister now waits to discover his fate.
Sue Gray's inquiry into lockdown parties in Downing Street is believed to be complete.
But as the Prime Minister's convoy snaked towards Parliament, he still hadn't received Sue Gray's findings on what went on during lockdown under his own roof. The parliamentary day ended just 2.5 hours ago.
Order. Order.
With a whimper, no report, no statement. And the mantra of recent weeks still on everyone's lips.
Let's wait for the reports. Let's wait for reports.
I'm waiting for the report.
But back inside the Cabinet Office on Whitehall, just at the end of Downing Street, Sue Gray still had hold of her report. It hadn't gone to number 10 overnight, as had been expected. Its summary of what went on in the Downing Street garden gathering and others still under lock and key. The Commons did fill up for question time, another session dominated by a report still unseen.
The reality is that we now have the shameful spectacle of a Prime Minister of the United Kingdom being subject to a police investigation. Unable to lead the country, incapable of doing the right thing, and every day his cabinet fail to speak out, they become more and more complicit. Whatever he says in his statement later today or tomorrow won't change the facts. Isn't this a Prime Minister and a government that have shown nothing but contempt for the decency, honesty and respect that define this country?
Of course he wants me out of the way, Mr. Speaker. Of course he wants me out of the way. He does. And I can't, and many people, of course, I don't deny it. For all sorts of reasons, many people may want me out of the way, but I tell you the reason he wants me out of the way is because he knows that this government can be trusted to deliver. The problem with the Labour Party today, Mr. Speaker, is that he's a lawyer, not a leader.
Labour's deputy leader heckled, "You've got a liar, not a leader." There were more Tory cheers behind the Prime Minister than in other recent outings, signs of an organised fight back to a threat that hasn't gone away.
As you heard in the chamber there, the MPs rallying behind the Prime Minister. We've got to focus on what's really important for the British people.
Come on, you must be getting bored right now of coming out, being dragged out time and again to defend the Prime Minister, aren't you?
I'm not being dragged. I'm happily stomping down here to defend the Prime Minister.
A sign of the strange times, one Tory MP came to the microphones with a preemptive denial.
The rumours of my defection are untrue and that I will not be crossing the floor of the House of Commons. Obviously, these last few weeks I have personally felt very disappointed by what I've read and what I've seen in the press, and I've conveyed that both to the media, very much so last week, but also to the Prime Minister yesterday. When I spoke with him, I did convey that disappointment and also anger from myself and from constituents, and that ultimately things have to change.
The Prime Minister's privately promised some MPs that when the lockdown parties issue is dealt with, he will lead a reinvigorated, shaken-up government. Some Tory MPs, including ministers in his government, think Boris Johnson himself is damaging the party brand, can't turn things round, and should go.
Well, Gary joins me now live. Gary, what's happening now?
Well, people are wondering why haven't we seen this report yet. One of the suggestions you hear around Whitehall is that maybe that statement that came out of a Metropolitan Police source yesterday saying this report is clear for takeoff, we've got no problems with it, you can publish it, that was a little too breezy, and that in fact we still have, supposedly, Metropolitan Police lawyers looking at it, government lawyers looking at it, government human resources people looking at it, because there is a police investigation now underway, of course, and that raises all sorts of prospects, duty of care and many other concerns. When do we get it? Well, in theory, it could go into number 10 tonight, tomorrow, and then the question is for the Prime Minister, does he go to the House of Commons with it? Because Thursday and Friday this week are pretty thinly attended days in the House of Commons. MPs might react badly if they're in their constituencies when this amazing political moment happens. It wouldn't be particularly good optics for the Prime Minister to have empty benches behind him. But on the other hand, what they've got to weigh up is, would it alienate punters outside if they thought the Prime Minister was sitting on a report and not bringing it straight to the House of Commons? So they've got to weigh that up, and I suspect in the end what they're hoping for is that they get the report maybe towards the end of Friday when Parliament's risen, and then they have the weekend to chew over it and Monday to share it. Then the question is, will there be enough Tory MPs antagonised by that to demand a vote of no confidence in the Prime Minister, that number of 54. And what the rebels there are saying is that they really need to get to 54 within about 24 hours of people seeing the report. So, tense moments.